Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Maseches MEILAH Daf Vav. We begin right on top. Tashma. This relates back to our discussion of yesterday. In the Mishnah we learned that Kadjei Shegadashim, like a Chatas, will have MEILAH status up until it loses its Kadjei Hashem designation, which happens when it gets Shas Heter, a moment of permissibility. Now, according to Rabbi Yochanan, Shas Heter means it's fully permissible for consumption, which happens only once the Zrika was done. So once you finish, you complete the four-phase Hakrava process, Shchita, Kabbalah Sadam, Halachas Sadam, and Zrika Sadam. At that point, the basar is mutter for the Kahanim to eat. That's what the Mishnah means. Shas Heter l'Kahanim. In contrast to other opinions, which held that it's the Shas Shchita that works. That's Chizkiya's Shita. Heter Shchita Shaninu. Mishnah means the permissibility aspect, which is triggered by the Shchita alone. There was another possibility, which was Heter Zrika. As long as the dam of the carbon is enabled for Zrika, even though it hadn't yet been carried out. It's already labeled as dam slated for Zrika, which will complete the Heter, complete the Hakrava process, which will generate a full blown Heter on the basar. It's already far enough in the process to qualify as Shas Heter. It's already in a condition of Heter because it's about to be carried out. So we have three different positions on this question. What's considered Shas Heter, l'Kahanim? Is it the Shchita per se? Is it the availability for Zrika, which happens, after the Kabbalah? Or do you need the actual Zrika being carried out? That's Rabbi Yechan's position, which makes it mutar l'achila. Tashma, we're going to bring a string of rayas, three rayas to Rabbi Yechan's position. That is Heter achila. We need an actual Zrika. We need an actual permissibility on the basar for the MEILAH to vacate. Tashma, Reb Shimon Brisa. He says, what about noiser? Is there MEILAH on noiser? If a person partakes in basar of a carbon which had been left overnight, which had expired, taken past its expiry date. Is there MEILAH on that? Well, it depends. Yesh noiser shemay alam boy, yesh noiser shemay alam boy. Some cases yes, some cases not. Ketzad. So, for example, lan lifnei zrika, if the lina, leaving it overnight, occurred before the zrika, Rashi learns, actually it's going on the dam of the carbon. So the Kabbalah was done today, and it was left overnight, the zrika only happened tomorrow. Tesis learns that the lina here is talking about the basar of the carbon. In any case, it's the next day, and the basar is certainly nicer. And he ate the basar. Lifnei zrika, if it's still pre-zrika, ma'alam there's MEILAH. But lachas zrika, once the zrika had been carried out, it deactivates the MEILAH, even though it's not really a proper zrika. It's the next day, the dam is pasul. Rashi explains, Reb Shimon holds, even that will accomplish the same effect. There's no MEILAH anymore. So clearly, we need the actual zrika carried out, which is like Rabbi Yochanan, who says, Heter achila, you need the zrika, which typically permits the basar l'achil. Only that will deactivate the MEILAH. But just being available for zrika, that's not enough. Okay, so Shimon teaches that if it's still before zrika, there is MEILAH. Now, what happened today? So the shchita happened on Sunday, and it was left overnight. Monday, he ate it. If he ate it before the zrika was carried out, there's MEILAH. Let's backtrack. What happened on Sunday? Lav dahava shohus lemizrika. Let's assume on Sunday there was ample time to do the zrika. The boy is Rorik. He did the Kabbalah. He could have done the zrika for the same money. He could have. So it had that potential for zrika. It had the heter for zrika. That's not enough to deactivate the MEILAH. Without the actual zrika being carried out, the shmana we can derive from here the heter achila shanin, like Rabbi Yochanan. You need actual zrika to remove the MEILAH. The Kabbalah, the Kibble, what happened was he did the Kabbalah a minute before Shkia. The Lehaya Shuslam is there was no moment in time. There was no availability to do the Zrika. And that's why MEILAH still active. Aval haya shahus, but let's say there would be enough time. It's a half hour to shkia. What would you say? Do we know me'ilah? Because as long as it was available and able for zrika, that's enough. Is that so? So why does the Brisa draw the line between, well, if it's before zrika, there's me'ilah. After zrika, that shouldn't be the trigger point. That shouldn't be the defining factor. The defining factor is, was there enough time to do zrika, or was there not enough time? Listening, instead, the Brisa should have depended it upon koydem shkia or la'achar shkia. Right? Was the Kabbalah before shkia, in which case there was enough time to do the zrika, or did it take place only after shkia, which is not a time for zrika, so it's not considered fit for zrika. It's exactly what the Brisa means. Koydem shira l'zrika, la'achar shira l'zrika. Depends if it was potentially available for zrika. La'achar shira l'zrika means that it was the achila occurred after it was available for zrika, which means to say there was enough time to shkia to actually do the zrika. Hence, we consider done. Like Teresa said yesterday, if something is slated for zrika, it's available, it's there, then we treat it like it happened. We already have that material, that zrika material on hand. You already started that process, so to speak. You have that heter insight. As opposed to koydem shira l'zrika, as opposed to if the incident occurred before it was available for zrika, which means to say that this whole thing happened in a situation where the shchita was very close to the shkia. There was no moment in time for zrika availability. Okay, so we thought that we had a right to Rabbi Yochanan. The actual zrika needs to be done to deactivate MEILAH. No, the availability for zrika is what defines the MEILAH status. Tashmai comes another right. Reb Shimon Omer, very similar discussion, almost word for word. Instead of a nicer issue, we have pigul. Is there MEILAH on pigul material? Shimon Omer yesh pigul shmayalan boy. Depends, some and some. Some do have MEILAH, yesh pigul shmayalan boy. Keitzad. Lefnei zrika mayalan boy. La'achar zrika ein mayalan boy. If it's before zrika, there's MEILAH. Otherwise, there isn't. Ketani midas. Okay, so what did he say? Lefnei zrika mayalan boy. If it's still before zrika, the MEILAH is still intact. Apparently, the actual zrika is what's needed. Lav dehava shehus lemizrike. We're assuming that he did the Kabbalah with ample time, to shkia. He could have done the zrika. The boy zerk, if he would have wished, he could have done the zrika. Could tell him alan boy. And Brisa says there's MEILAH. Apparently, potential zrika is not enough. Ushmamina. Apparently, we can see from here heter achila shaninu. The actual zrika is required. The heter achila is needed. In line with Rabbi Yochanan. No, we're talking that there wasn't enough time to shkia to do the zrika. But you mean to say that were there be enough time? Was there a half hour to shkia? That would be enough to address the MEILAH issue, because as soon as it's available for zrika, that's enough. So then, why is the Brisa hinging it on before zrika, after zrika? If that's not the defining event, listening koydem shkia, the Brisa should have referred to pre or post shkia as the defining factor. Koydem shkia sacham, lachar shkia sacham. Chanami kam. That's what the Brisa means. Koydem shira l'zrika, lachar shira l'zrika. Was it available for zrika or not? That's what the Brisa means. Tashmai comes another riot Rabbi Yochanan, perhaps, that the heter zrika, the heter achila is what deactivates the MEILAH. No less than that. Tashma pigul b'kachim kachim me'alim boy. So you have a carbon that was processed as pigul. MEILAH is still there. MEILAH zarak. Now we're assuming that he already did the zrika. Nevertheless, pigul will still maintain its MEILAH status, because pigul can't really deactivate the MEILAH. It's not a proper process. Ushmamina, but now we can make a diuk. In this case, since it was an unsuccessful process, it was pigul, so it can't remove the meila. But typically, if it's a proper process, it can, provided you took it to the finish line, provided you did zrika, because you need heder achila. Ushmamina heder achila shanina. No, we're talking before zrika. All he did was the shchita, the kabbalah. And as Rashi explains, typically that will be enough, because you have the zrika in front of you. You have the material that's zrika enabled. But in this case, it's not going to work, because the fact is, it's pigul material. We're not going to say, well, it's just as good as kizaruk dami. No, it's not really meant for zrika. So you don't have that 1-2 step system. You can't say, well, it's enabled, so it's done. But typically, you do say that. As long as you have blood that's available for zrika, slated for zrika, it's as good as done. Because heter zrika is sufficient. So let's make a diuk. The Brisa is referring to before zrika. And that's the issue. Aval zarak. But you're saying that if you would do the zrika, even though it's pigul, the meila would be deactivated, because after all, he did the zrika despite the fact that it's pigul. It's considered, full process done. Unlike the sheet of Rav Gidol that we had the other day, that the zrika of pigul can't deactivate meila. This Brisa will disagree. So, again, typically, heter zrika is enough. Available for zrika is enough. If it's qualifying dam, which is available for zrika, you don't need heter achi. You don't need the actual zrika. A pigul, it shifts a bit, because since the blood is not really meant for zrika, you can't say, well, it's available for zrika. So here you need the actual zrika, which is something you don't typically need. Aval zorak, but if you would do the zrika, even though it's pigul mai, what would happen? There would be no me'ilah. So when the Brisa is looking for a case where there's no me'ilah anymore, why shift tracks? You should know, if it's kachim kalim, where the system's reversed, right? Kachim kadashim has me'ilah until the zrika. Kachim kalim does not have me'ilah until you do the zrika. Then it activates the me'ilah, because the zrika, in effect, is separating, is designating the part that belongs on the mizbeach, the imurim, the fats. So for that, the Mishnah Brisa says, since you're doing it in a pigul manner, it's not going to be strong enough to activate the me'ilah. But the question is, why did the Brisa have to go search, looking for a case where there's no me'ilah? We discovered, kachim kalam, that was done in a pigul fashion, it will not activate the me'ilah. Stay right here. Stick to KosherTube, which is the topic of our discussion already, and just say KosherTube, which was done in a pigul manner. Before zrika there is me'ilah. After zrika there is no me'ilah. If in fact what you're saying is true, why to go to KosherTube for an example of no me'ilah? That the zrika pigul will not activate me'ilah. Listen, it should have stayed right here on topic. Kan lefnei zrika, lachas zrika. Stick to KosherTube, which were done pigul. Well, before zrika there is me'ilah. After zrika, there's no me'ilah. The answer is the Brisa wanted to highlight that point for us. The Brisa wanted to highlight that contrast and tell you like this. On the one hand, right, what's the status of a pigul process? According to Rav Gidol, hands down, it's a non-entity, non-player. It can't deactivate the me'ilah of KosherTube. It can't activate the me'ilah of kachim kalim. But we disagree. This Brisa will disagree. On the one hand, we reckon with the me'ilah, with the zrika of pigul. On the other hand, we do not. Depends where. Depends what you're trying to accomplish. If it's just a matter of removing, of deactivating, yes, it can do that. Such as by Kachim Kadashim, where the point is to deactivate the me'ilah. So even a pigul process can do that. Taisus, the other day, we explained it yesterday in the shir, Taisus explains the difference between the two things. He says that pigul is sort of a positive negative. It establishes, it turns it into pigul. So that has the power to designate. It has the power to render the basar as the recipient of the process. In which case it's no longer regarded as Kachi Hashem, which it was until that point. So at that point it was one big package, the basar, the dam. But once you process the dam, certainly once you got to the zrika, even though it was a zrika's pigul, which is really possible, but at this point the basar is out of the way. The basar has sort of been separated, given its own designation. It's the recipient of the zrika process that took place with the dam. Fully understand that the basar now loses its Kachi Hashem status, which it had until that moment. So that works. As opposed to endowing the carbon with MEILAH, giving MEILAH status by way of the Zrika's pigul. That I can't do, because Zrika's pigul doesn't have the power to designate the fats and the imurim for the mizbeach. That's Zrika's pigul. That's why it's not going to activate MEILAH on the Koshem column. That's exactly what the Bryce is teaching us. To bring about MEILAH. So to tack on MEILAH onto the material, Zrika ketikna mais leMeilah. Only proper Zrika does that. But kol afugim leMeilah. But to deactivate and remove MEILAH from the Kaddish Kadashim, even if it's an improper Zrika process like pigul, nami still mafkim leMeilah will remove the MEILAH. In fact, Rashi points out this is the Brisa which refutes Rav Gidl's halacha. Rav Gidl taught us that pigul is a non-entity, whether to activate or deactivate MEILAH. And we disagree. We conclude that, on the one hand, we agree that it can't activate, but it could deactivate. Okay, so in conclusion, Kachik Dashim loses MEILAH when it has Shas Heter l'Kayhanim. What defines Shas Heter? Either the Shchita, or the enablement for Zrika, which we call Heter Zrika, or having actually done the Zrika, which gives the basar Heter l'Achila. We had three positions on that. We attempted to bring some proof, some rayas, which at this point haven't really panned out. Okay, we turn to our base. A new sugi, but quite related. Says the Mishnah, basar kachik kachim. So again, kachik kadashim has MEILAH present until it's no longer regarded as Kachi Hashem, whereas Kachim Kalam is MEILAH free until it's processed, in which case it gets the status, the fats and the parts that belong to it get the status of Kachi Hashem. What if the basar of the Kachi Kadashim is out of the premises, Sheyatza left the Azora, which disqualifies it, which makes it puzzle? If Nezir Gazdama left before the Zrika, and Rashi explains it came back in. Fine, but it's too late, it became puzzles. Even though it's present during the Zrika, question, can the Zrika affect it? Can the Zrika change its status and remove the MEILAH? Rav Lezo, I remember Yalamboy. He says no, he was out of bounds. He's disconnected, disengaged from the carbon. The Zrika of the carbon cannot have any effect on that basar. The MEILAH will still be present. By the way, Taisus points out, how's this going to be in line with the previous sugya? That all you need is the heter zrika, or heter, right? Shchita, to remove the MEILAH. Says Taisus, yeah, it fits perfectly. Well, if you hold you need heter achila, you certainly don't have it yet. If you hold you need heter zrika, so Taisus learns, apparently the basar left the area before the dam was ready for Zrika, before the Kabbalah happened, which enables the dam for Zrika. If you hold heter shchita, that's the tricky one, the shchita itself removes MEILAH. So you have to say that the basar left the area even before you completed the shchita. and you made the blood available for Kabbalah. Okay, so you have to work it out with the previous sugya. In any case, for whatever reason, the MEILAH status is still present on the boss. And the question is, can the Zrika remove it? No, because he's disengaged from the carbon. Whatever happens to the carbon will not affect this basar anymore. What else happens when you process the carbon? Pigul status can be applied to the carbon, but not to this basar. But noiser, if the basar was left overnight, there's no status of noiser or tummy. If a person whose tummy eats it, there's no karas. Rabbi Kiva, no, he says he's still related to the carbon. He's still related to the blood. So although he's puzzled on account of him leaving the premises, but you can still cover him with the process. Rabbi Kiva gets removed. All the statuses of the carbon apply to him as well. Rabbi Kiva, I'll prove to you that it's so. I'll prove to you that the zrika of the carbon can even affect a portion of it which is unfit. Imagine a person had a carbon chatas and it disappeared. You put another one up as a backup, and then you discover the first one he has two standing before him. They're both standing, and you do shchita on both. Okay, so now one is going to be kosher, one is going to be leftovers, puzzle. And then he does the zrika on one. What happens to the MEILAH of the other one? Wouldn't you agree, loy? Is it not kashem shadama, just like the blood of a poiters besara exempts its own flesh from MEILAH? Kacha poiters b'chaverta, likewise it exempts its colleagues' basar from MEILAH. It's one package. So it removes the MEILAH despite the fact that the basar of the other one is really puzzle. And now if you agree to that, in pater dama as b'sar chaverta, when we lift the dama of this one accommodates the other one's basar and removes the MEILAH, dinu sheyifters basar atzma. Certainly it can exempt its own basar, such as now a case. The blood should accommodate its own material, despite the fact that it's puzzle and left the premises. We have the same machlekes in the reverse. A muri kachim kalam, sheyotzov nizrikas dam, the emurim, the fats of the kachim kalam which left the area before zrika. The question is, did the zrika activate MEILAH upon them? Same machlekes. The answer is no. Ein me'alam behen. There's no MEILAH. Tell me, yes, me'alam behen. The zrika will accommodate it. Why does the Mishnah have to cite both variations of the very same concept, just in reverse? It's a mirror case of the first example in the Mishnah. Zrika both are needed. If you only discuss the first case, where the zrika is trying to remove the MEILAH, I would say, here Rabbi Lezer says MEILAH is still there because the zrika cannot remove it. You're trying to be lenient, trying to remove something, you can't do that. Only a proper zrika will extract it midei MEILAH. But an improper zrika, the MEILAH will not extract it from MEILAH, such as where you're trying to dress material which is yaita, which is puzzle. But in the second case, we're trying to activate MEILAH. That's l'chumra, Rashi says. Perhaps even though he's addressing improper material, the MEILAH can bring about the MEILAH status onto that item. On the other hand, if you only discuss the second case, I would say only in that case Rekiva says the MEILAH gets applied because you're trying to bring about MEILAH. It's a chumrah. Even an improper zrika can activate MEILAH. In the first case, we're trying to be lenient and remove the MEILAH. If it's improper, that the MEILAH cannot do it. That's why the Mishnah cites both examples to teach us that both, whether it's lakula or lachumrah, whether you're trying to activate or deactivate, the positions remain the same. Rabbi Lezer says out of balance cannot be accommodated. Rekiva says it can. We'll continue to Marbet Hashem. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.